What do we know about these layoffs and where it fits in really to their broader strategy of sort of slimming down, if you will?
Yeah, it's an effort that's been going on in small bits and pieces here and there, but it sounds like based on this new memo that Executive Chairman Marcelo Claure sent out to staff this morning, it's going to start, quote, in earnest in the U.S. this week. So they had already been starting to have maybe some layoffs overseas, and then there had been some cuts in side businesses such as Meetup and other side businesses that WeWork owns. But this seems like maybe this week is going to be the big time. So they had actually originally scheduled an all-hands meeting for Tuesday, and another part of the memo says that actually that meeting is going to be moved to Friday in order to, I think, give time for all the job cuts to sort of percolate through the company this week. And then on Friday, they expect Marcelo to give an update on the 5-year plan of the company.
Do we have any indication what that update of that 5-year plan may look like?
If it's anything like the stuff he's been talking about in these all-staff memos, it's going to be, I think, similar to that path, which is really trying to focus on the core business, really trying to get back to profitability. That has been the repeated goal. I think that's easier said than done. This is a business that is, even if they manage to make the right cuts, they're going to be suffering from, I think, employee morale. This has been a really hard few months for WeWork employees who felt in June or July that they were on the brink of a really successful IPO, and now the company seems to have gone through a 180. I think many people, even if they aren't getting cut this week, are choosing to leave. I've heard WeWork employees tell me that a lot of people don't show up for work. People are openly taking interviews elsewhere. Of course, there are many people who feel devoted to the company and want to stay, but others who feel like it's on shaky ground want to find a way out.
And from your reporting, do you get a sense that the 16% or the couple thousand that we think could start to be getting laid off this week, is that within WeWork, the office sharing business specifically, or does that also include some of those other side businesses that you were talking about?
It's probably going to include side businesses. I think that total number is going to be up to a little massaging. There are going to be some companies or side companies within WeWork that are probably expected to shut down, and most of those employees will leave. It also gets a little complicated. For example, many of the cleaners at WeWork were in-house employees for many years. These were called community service associates and other titles such as that. And those workers were in-house for many years. Now it seems like as of this week or next week, they're going to be slowly transitioning to being hired by an outside contractor who will then provide the services back in. So there's some job shifting going around, so that final number of layoffs may be a little hard to pin down.
It was interesting that you mentioned the CEO in that all hands-on letter, because there's been some rumors circulating about a new CEO, John Legere, who we learned today will be stepping down from T-Mobile in May of 2020. His name was being thrown in the mix. Why the CEO shakeup after they had just ousted Adam Neumann?
So they have these two co-CEOs, Artie Minson and Sebastian Gunningham, who stepped in after Adam Neumann left. But even though the company has said that they weren't initially going to start on a search, it seems like SoftBank and/or maybe the company as well are starting to ask around, try to see if there's someone who can take over the job. I think they recognize it'll probably be important to have someone step in with a lot of confidence and ability to sort of set a new course for leadership. It's just been so shaky internally since then, and they've had Marcelo step in as executive chairman, but notably not in a CEO role. And I think the expectation would be that he would work alongside with whoever ends up becoming CEO. I'm sure that this is a search that weighs heavily on the minds of the board and executives at WeWork, trying to find the right person who might be able to lead them out of this tumultuous period.